So are you seeing any predators right now?
Yeah, actually. I found a ladybug larva over here, part of the world, here in North America, by bringing and establishing soybean as a major crop here. And so through trade, through travel, and sometimes through introduction, we bring species that are associated with these agroecosystems in their native range, and they then sometimes act as pests or sometimes as natural enemies in their new range where we bring them. So species become pests when we deem them a problem for something we want out of the system. And so usually they're basically competitors with us for the crops that we like to eat or like to use. And pests tend to arise more often when we have these large monocultures, because there's a variety of mechanisms that this may happen by. One of them is that when we have a big monoculture, it's just really easy for the pests to find the food. And so they show up in large numbers. Another reason is that when there's not as much diversity in the area, they can basically grow without any control from predators or competition from other organisms. And so by simplifying agricultural systems, we end up with these systems that are really, really good for the things that eat the monoculture and not so good for all the other stuff that may be keeping those pests in check. And sometimes there's some really aggressive predators like this Harmonia axorides, this harlequin lady beetle, that will still show up no matter what, but a lot of the other natural enemies, when they don't have access to the diverse resources that they may have had access to in a more diversified agroecosystem or landscape, are not going to show up as much. And that can cause problems for the yield that we get from the crops. Lady beetles like these will spend their winters usually in like wooded areas, sometimes in structures that humans have created. So if they emerge in the spring and the only stuff that's growing around here is soybeans, they may be starving until late June, July, when these crops are really taking off and there's soybean aphids around for them to eat. Whereas if the landscape is more diversified, has more early season crops like the small grains I was mentioning, or perennial vegetation like pastures or prairies, there may be more food for them so they can build up their population and then be really effective predators when the time comes for them to control the soybean pests. This is another type of natural enemy or predator that you can find in the soybean agroecosystem. It's a green lacewing. So this is a different order of insect. And
Not lady beetles.
They are not lady beetles. No, they're not beetles at all. Right. This is what the adult lady beetle looks like. This is the adult Harmonia axorides, or the harlequin lady beetle.
Multicolored Asian lady beetle. They have so many different names, and they're so variable in their colors too.
Yeah, they have really different patterns of spotting and coloration. You can always tell the adults though, because they have this, I don't know if you can see it in this shot, but there's a W.
It's the Wisconsin
W on
Wisconsin
their
W on
pronotum.
Yeah, fantastic.